Greetings and welcome to a Prayerful Pause. My name is Nancy Woodworth-Hill, and amongst other things, I'm a spiritual director. Today we're going to take a look at the Cinquaine, that's spelled Cinquain. It's a 5-line poem. And we're going to explore today what's known as an expressive arts form. So it's claimed that the arts are the language of the soul, and through them we connect with the mystery of the creative spirit beyond us, moving in us and through us. Christine Walters Paintner and Betsy Beckman claim that writing a poem is a way to honor a memory, a new insight, or an important event, and giving it form through the beauty of language. It can bring a sense of wholeness to capture an interior movement through an outward expressive form. Poem writing can also be an act of discovery. By responding to an inner movement and putting it into poetic language, new ways of seeing are revealed. Writing poetry can cultivate practices of awareness, of listening deeply to our experiences and the world around us. As human beings, we cannot not tell our story. Sometimes we are unable to hear ourselves and are unaware that we have some inner work to do. The expressive arts, and here think about writing, crafting a poem, a story, or a song, movement or dance, mandala making, painting, drawing, so all these things and more can be very helpful in the process of learning to listen deeply to ourselves. With an expressive art, we make art to express ourselves rather than for another person's consumption or to sell. When we unleash our creativity, we reach into a sacred power that gives us access to our inner resources for healing and clarity and creativity. We often find confirmation of our essential self, as well as new discoveries of God's invitation to wholeness. The Cinquaine, so this is a name that comes from the French word for 5, is a simple poem pattern which focuses a writer on the heart of the matter. It was devised by the American poet Adelaide Crapsey, who lived from 1913 to 1977. For those of you familiar with the Japanese form of haiku or tanka, it's similar. So this form can help us express an experience or a feeling. Now the traditional form has syllable restrictions, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 in each line. Although I didn't impose that restriction on me, I talk more about words and numbers of words. So this poetry form can be used to explore aspects of one's prayer life. What images keep arising? It can give them a fuller frame with this pattern. Other things, image in your prayers or a song, a dream image, something that happens to you or a concern, perhaps your favorite thing, something you don't like, or something you see around you. It's rather limitless. So here's the practice. As with everything, we have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So here's our beginning. Prepare. You need a place. Gather your materials. Minimally, a paper, a pencil, or a pen. Or for those of you that go digital, the appropriate tools. If you wish, have your journal or another prompt nearby. Bring yourself to your quiet center in whatever way works for you. If you don't have one, perhaps you can use your breath. Intentionally breathe slow and deep for 3 to 5 cycles of inhale and exhale. And then choose one word. Consider where you wish deeper insight, perhaps in response to an experience, a dream, a concern, a piece of art that you saw recently, a song that you heard, or one you can't get out of your head. Take your time. If you can't choose between a few options, pick the one that has the most energy for you in the moment. So here's the practice. We're going to describe 5 lines. On the first line, write your word. On the second line, write 2 adjectives, so words that tell about your word. On the third line, 3 actions, so verbs ending in ing. And these also tell about your word. What is it doing? The fourth line, a 4-word phrase or sentence that sums up or tells more about your first word. And then your 5th line, 1 word, a metaphor or synonym referring back to the first line. So let's review that. And normally these are written so they're at the center of the page. They form, they're not all to the left at the center. So the first line is your word. The second line, 2 words, adjectives that describe your word. The third line, 3 actions. So think action words ending in ing that also tell about your word. What's it doing? The fourth line, a 4-word phrase or sentence that sums up or tells more about the first line. And the 5th line, 1 word that's a metaphor or synonym referring back to your line. Then we come to the last part. Take a look at what you've written. Soak it into your bones. Let it soak in your bones. What are you being invited to see differently? Anything? You can take it all to God in prayer. You can journal on it. You can come back to it another time. Don't rush. I thought I'd share a couple that I wrote. One is trees, alive, tall, standing, swaying, sheltering, ready to drop leaves, seasons. I wrote this as I was looking at my office window. If I were to spend some time with this, I would wonder where the seasons are in my life, how that's like trees. I would look at the standing, swaying, sheltering, and wonder how that is being done in my life. And ready to drop leaves, what am I ready to let go of? What do I need to give words to? Another one that I wrote, I started with the word quarantine. Enclosed, careful, waiting, washing, stifling, staying home for safety, restlessness. When I got to that last word, I was able to describe an emotion that's just kind of been settling down around in the background of my life for these many weeks. Restlessness. And just being able to say it out loud was very helpful. So that's the beginning way of looking at some of this. Let yourself wander with it, journal with it, create even more with it. By the way, this is a really good activity to do with children. It can help them think through some of these steps. So let's just review the practice one more time. Get your materials ready. Center yourself. Have your word ready. That's your first line. And the second line, have 2 words that tell about your word, adjectives. In the third line, have 3 verbs that tell about your word. What's it doing? The fourth line is a 4-word phrase or sentence that sums up or talks about the first line. And then the final line, 1 word, a metaphor or synonym referring back to the first word. Go in peace.